Hey guys, it's time to buckle up because we have another good story from Roller Reddit. Revenge on cheating wife, now ex, as well as the karma that came afterwards. So I'm in the army and I was married. I was approaching my first deployment to Iraq. It was very stressful, and it had my wife wanting me to find a way to stay and not deploy. Obvious things any wife would try to talk about. Anyways, so we have no kids, but both want them. So we talk about getting out of debt while I'm gone. She talks to her best friend back home in another state, where we're both from. Her friend agrees to let her move in and charge a modest $300 in rent, so that we can get out of debt and start a family when I come back. A plan I was actually very pleased with. I deploy, she is there crying her eyes out saying she will miss me and loves me, and we will start a family when we get back. Fast forward 2 months. She starts acting distant, not wanting to talk much on our scheduled calls or text back 1 or 2-word answers. We've been together 6 years, she is never at a loss for words. Anyway, one day she says, "I need some space." She asks someone who is 10,000 miles away for space. I say why. She says she just needs space. She wants to find herself. So I remember back when we lived at home, she had a guy who was always being borderline inappropriate. I'm not a very jealous person and I trust her. So I start seeing said guy on in basically all her pictures she posts with a group. Every time, he is in the picture. Everyone else changes, but never him. So for the first time, I'm very jealous and uneasy about everything. So I clone her phone so I receive every text she receives, as well as every text she sends. I'll never forget the first text I saw after cloning her phone. "Hey babe, I'll see you after work. Want me to save you any of my leftovers?" For him. It destroyed me. I lost 35 pounds in a week. I didn't eat or sleep. I stared at the phone watching every conversation. Watching them talk about trying to have a baby. It was literally everything a married person fears. I ask her if she is seeing someone and she says no, she isn't. She is taking care of herself and she loves me, blah blah. I don't say anything about receiving her texts for 2 months. Over this time, she finally admits cheating and that he is so much better than me at sex, treating her right, and he does what she wants. During this time, she pays our debt off, hits tattoos with him, matching "I love you" tattoos, goes to shows with him, buying clothes with the money I'm making. So this is where revenge starts. I put a freeze on the account for a month. In that time I change every password to every account to things she won't guess, army jargon slang terms. I block her on FB in my phone so she has no way to contact me. She lost her car to repo a few months later, got kicked out of her place, had to sell her prized shoes and purses just to stay alive. And then find out she got a job at her old restaurant. So I post all the text conversations I have with her and the guy talking about having babies that have time stamps on it, as well as post conversations we had with the matching time stamps showing all of our friends what she has done. I then have friends call and complain at her job constantly on both he and her. They work at a restaurant, so I also have friends dine and dash. They both get fired. So she tries to call my command and tell them that I am abandoning her and she can't provide for herself. My commander knows what is going on. He does nothing because he had something similar happen. Then about a month before I come back, she calls me from another number to tell me she is pregnant with his kid. Mind you, I'm still gone, so we cannot get divorced yet. She moved away with him. 10 hours from me. April 24, 2018. She calls me 5 months pregnant, crying uncontrollably, asking me where she should go. Apparently they have a giant blow-up fight. She tells him she is leaving. She says she doesn't know where to go and I simply say, "Sorry, not my problem anymore." Fast forward January of this year. She calls me from a mutual friend's phone. He hit me. "Ike, what to do me? Matey, you don't cheat on your husband when he is deployed for some guy who talks a big game her." Well, I guess you are happy about this, me. No, but I'm glad I know I'm not the bad guy in this story. And then the next month he is cheating on me with 2 girls. I'm sorry. I regret everything I did. Me. Yeah, you did all, and all. This woman destroyed my life. Put me into a deep depression I'm still dealing with. But I do feel a little better having proof that I wasn't the problem. To think if this happened even 10 or 5 years ago, I would have come back to an empty bank account, an empty house, as well as seeing my then wife pregnant with another man's baby. She actually hit me up yesterday to ask for some money to help cover rent. Edit. Answer a few questions. I realized I left out that we got divorced before the kid was born, so I have no financial responsibility to her. Have it now for almost a year. I mainly used T-Mobile's digit service to clone the phone. Google it. I don't feel like typing it. Also, no, I wasn't celebrating that she was physically abused. I did tell her to call the cops, but that's all I did. It's not right to abuse someone, but I also have no responsibility to watch out for her well-being. Story 2. Dating for nearly 3 years. Things don't feel right now. Me, 21F, and my boyfriend, 21M, have been dating for nearly 3 years already. I started living with him back in March 2020. He has an apartment with his best friend, and I just went over like about 3 to 4 days a week, and I slept there each time. Fast forward to December 2020, his best friend and basically all his friends went back home to China because of coronavirus. They're international students, so after his best friend left, I began staying at his place every day. All of his friends have gone home, so he was lonely. And everything actually went very well. We cooked together every night, cleaned the house together, went shopping together, and watched Netflix together every night. And fast forward to August 2021, everyone came back to the US. That's when stuff started changing. I still go over to their place every night. But it's like since everyone came back, he doesn't really like to spend time with me. And it makes me feel like I get so mad and sad about it. But every time I bring it up to my boyfriend, he says I'm not letting him spend time with his friends. He says I don't want him to have friends. I'm like tired of talking about it with him because he always brings it up. Also, mind you, I don't spend the whole day at the house. I have my own things to do. So basically during the daytime, I'm out doing my own stuff. Before, he would basically go anywhere that I wanted to go. He would just agree with going. But now, he just doesn't want to do things with me. Just this past weekend, I asked him if he wanted to go on a hike. He said he doesn't feel like it. Hiking is like one of the only shared hobbies we have, and he refuses to go. At the end, he was like, I'll go if you really want me to go. And so I said, never mind, I'll just go by myself. Because the last time he said that and I made him go. He got mad at me super easily, and he was just in a bad mood the whole time during the hike. I didn't want to deal with that again, so I just insisted on going alone. Now in the nighttime, when I come home, he's playing games with his friends nearly every single night. It's hard to even watch something together with him now. When he's not playing on the computer, he's constantly on his phone. I'm so sick of it, but I always just have to suck it up. I just don't know what to do. Any advice? History 3. Does my long-term boyfriend 24M find me unattractive? 22F. Based off of this interaction, I want to start off by saying I'm sorry if my post sounds super superficial, but it's eating me up. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 4+ years, and we are pretty good at being communicative and open with each other. Few hours ago, we were talking about likes/dislikes of being with one another, and not once did he mention he liked the way I look. My boyfriend has never been the type to be good with taking or receiving compliments, but the few, only 3, likes he can come up with is, you're a good cuddler, I like that you feed me, and I like that you're an animal lover. I'm 5'7", 124 pounds, I've always been on the skinner side but more skinny fat-ish. Even though I do enjoy being active if I have some companion to motivate me, but occasionally get slothish about being active, go to gym on and off. I like fashion and keep up with my appearances and hygiene. I asked my boyfriend how come he never mentioned finding me cute or pretty, because I tend to compliment him, and he said he didn't know he can bring up appearances if it counts. I just find it odd that we are on the topic of likes and dislikes, and he just never mentioned anything about my appearance. I don't think I'm ugly. Once again, sorry if this sounds so superficial with men. Does it mean he finds me ugly or not satisfied with how I look? I ended up bringing it up to him, but just don't feel so convinced because he only addressed it after I brought it up. TLDR, BF and I dating for almost 5 years, talking about what we like and dislike about each other, discussion about our relationship. Not once he mentioned my appearance until I brought it up. Does it mean he finds me no longer attractive?